kind of skills industry can offer us to help get our projects, which are really good in discovery phase, to move them forward down that translational path. Do you have any experience or offers on
that completely resonates with me, Marty. I think, maybe 10 years ago I would have said, okay, if I've got a disease and I've got a drug and I've got a model of that disease, if my drug works to cure or improve the outcome in that disease, then there we go. Then I can buy my beach house and my house in the mountains, and that's just going to be that easy. One of the interesting things, though, I think, is that you find that if a discovery phase thing is successful, then it just kind of goes up to the next tier where toxicity issues start to come into play. You have to start to learn about what the IP landscape is, and even if a molecule works in a disease model, is there enough IP around it that it would be interested for a company to put all the resources behind it and continue to develop it? Is it something that can be manufactured in a reasonable cost? So I think for me, as you sort of start to learn more about those things, you realize how much it takes. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I would say 99% of the things that work in a lot of our animal models really don't ultimately translate into a product, just because the road is so long. I think in terms of what the industry can offer, just the experience with how do we look at, what are the ways to look at toxic effects of compounds and dose dependencies and all of these kind of things that we've found helpful with our experience.
Listening to that, Marty, it occurs to me that I'm going to use schizophrenia now again, but it's in a different way. Okay. There's a certain schizophrenia there's a dichotomy really that occurs with this heavy discovery cachet here. And it's that on the one hand, that's exactly what industry is looking for, right? One of the trends along with the 1980s and Bayh-Dole encouraging, catalyzing university intellectual property and development of that, commercialization of that. The other trend pushing academics and industry together has been the externalization of research and closing of R&D facilities within major global biopharmas. The most famous of that, in my mind, is Pfizer and Groton, their research center in Groton, Connecticut. It's a wasteland there, and they've gone to spending hundreds of millions at major academic centers. The relationship between Pfizer and UCSF in San Francisco is a good example of that. That's a biocluster, and they've put their scientists, rather than Groton, Connecticut, they're in the labs for 6 months in San Francisco at UCSF. And so that externalization of research is one of two major trends that have fostered, catalyzed collaborative collaborations between academic and industry. The dichotomy comes in is that while on the one hand industry is pushed to collaborate and look through all of your purple files here at ECU, on the other hand, Roy alluded to this, there's Dave did, there's a certain jaundiced eye industry gives to new discovery. And I think actually it's sort of part of the scientific method, right? All of us should do that. We don't read the New England Journal of Medicine and immediately start practicing that way. You look at it and go, that's interesting, but I wonder how that really translates, right? I wonder if that really holds up. Or drug of the month in the Lancet, right? We just don't practice that way. Same with basic research, right? Industry will take, if we're good at transferring information from ECU to industry, they'll take that and maybe repeat some of it, maybe repeat all of it, see if it holds water, if it's repeatable. So that's there's sort of a yin and a yang there, right? Where industry is driven to look for academic relationships, but on their hand, having found them, then they go, maybe we got to be a little more careful about this, right? Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.